I just set up my first bus lines and this is what happened. So here is the plan for today. I map out the whole bus layout, build up the infrastructure, test it, and in the end see if it was worth it. Does the traffic got better or worse? Let's find out. So we might ask, is it too early on to start buses? Buses in vanilla come with Boomtown milestone, which is between 650 to 2800, pretty early on to add buses, but with around 5 to 10k and I'm at 6.5k, it's fine. So instead of slapping down random lines, I wanted to approach this like a, transit planner. So we got this very professional screenshot that I put into Canva. And as you can see, we can separate my area into like 4 or even 5 zones if we include the remote industrial site. Think about the strategic points. So this is where I think depot will go. It's close to highway and I need a smaller depot at this point so there's enough space and it's a little bit, remote. There are also 2 or rather 3 strategic points where passengers can change lines. So one is over commercial zone that I built early on. And the other close to the entry point of the latest neighborhood. Catch up with the latest episode if you haven't yet. We also have a point next to the cemetery that I already pre-made a while ago, and it's going to be our third connecting point. Let's get straight into building and we will come back to bus lines. Like I said, the first one is located in old commercial side. I deleted one parking to make room and moved buildings because of intersection close by. I had to test whether I can place the bus stop directly in front of the spot and I managed to. This one is not really functional, I mean in the sense that buses aren't going to turn around here. It's rather for aesthetic and for people to, walk around. I use mostly this Zobl set, which functions, I think, as a park, and it raises land value. I moved the pieces around, added curbs, cobbles, and decals. Invisible pedestrian road, of course. After the final touches, we are done. Now off to loop number 2. The terrain here is hilly, so I had to even everything out. I used this lovely one-way road that I was so excited about in previous episode. So again, catch up or check out shorts. I think I've done like a sped up build quickie. because of all the hills, it was a bit tricky to place, so I left the whole footage so you can see how I eventually managed to make it look kinda okay. Node controller mode and its option slope is essential here. I've noticed random cars using the road, so I restricted them from using this road. I think you can restrict the first entering section only and leave the rest, since technically they can't pass the entering section, therefore shouldn't go further, but I wasn't sure, so I took extra 1 minute to change all the roads. Then we go back to the old jazz pavements, fencing, greenery, you know the drill. Same the OBL models, which can be justified. We can keep cohesive look, and also I think in real life the city's public transportation services or whatever usually stick to similar structures, like imagine the same bus stop, the same color palette. Here even the placement of the structures was challenging because of the hills. So to be honest, I always wonder if these builds are too basic and like, should I do more? but this layout usually holds up, so let's stick with that, and also I can build upon it in the future once we have more lines in the city. And this is how it looks like in use. All the bus lines will operate as a shuttle with turnaround at each end, so I prefer that over creating loops, because then you will have to make two separate lines, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's sketch the actual lines out. I keep it minimal, or at least try to. This is the shittiest paint quality sketch ever, but you see my points. I think I'm going for 4 lines. It feels like a lot, but each serves a specific purpose, right? We need to know what we place each line for. So let's work on the first one, which is the orange one. The orange one will go around the newest neighborhood, which is quite big and quite dense, hence it will be, I think, the longest one of it all. It will start at one point and pass through schools, pass through commercial side, the bigger one that we placed in the latest episode, and turn around close to the cemetery. I feel like it covers quite a big area and it will be sufficient. And then we have another line, which is a green line. I wanted it to start close to the highway, which is an entry to our village, and also close to the depot. It will also be quite big, but it's less dense than the previous one, and as you can see, it will pass the commercial side and goes around this beautiful olive orchids that we placed around a while ago, and then come back. The third one, the violet one, will go around this hillside, which is very hilly. There are mostly just houses over there, barely any commercial areas, but I feel like, first of all, it's going to be a shortcut for all the people living on the west side, and yeah, also provide the transportation for this remote housing. And for one, I wasn't sure whether to make it actually, but I decided why not, especially that I want to make the industrial site bigger, so it will start in the middle of this commercial zone in the West Village, I would say. Stop near the water and sewage services, and then go to this main remote industrial site. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I place each of this line. The golden rule is that we shouldn't place bus stop close to the intersections, but here it's in the first neighborhood is almost impossible because we have so many narrow one-way road coming out of this main road. So I didn't really stick to this rule. Of course, I wanted to avoid huge intersections where we could, clog things. But still, I feel like we couldn't obey to that golden rule. I had an issue with the pre-made stop close to the schools, but I managed to fix it somehow, and of course we'll get use of this nice bus loop close to the commercial site. Finish off at the cemetery and go back. And I choose the models of buses that I want. In this first line, I went with higher capacity. This is Japanese Roy model, and I really love all the networks and buses and vehicles and structures and stations from this pack. It was pack, I think, not DLC. But the problem is that they have all this Japanese lettering, which of course is fine because it's Japanese, but on the other hand, it can't really be implemented in some settings, like in this case, which is inspired by more of a hot climate places. And I did some decorating, very simple, just bus stops, signs and decals on the road saying bus stops. Since we have 2 lanes only roads, the buses are going to stop in the middle of the road, but I hope they won't clog our network that much. It's usually whenever I use the 2 lanes road instead of 4 lanes, the traffic isn't that bad, there's not so many cars passing by, so we can get away with that. So I don't think there is much to talk about the next one. We already had the overview of how it's going to look like. We are passing this area where there are tons of olive orchards and it's not really busy. We'll enter the main commercial road where we have our bigger stop. And finish off close to the depot where this green line will interfere with the violet one. And this time I went for a mix of 2 vehicles. I wanted to have higher capacity one and also smaller buses which have like, I don't know, 18%ers I think. And it's simply because I feel like in this pretty remote areas, small buses work better, and also the terrain is pretty hilly over there, so I feel like it's more realistic. Then I want to place the higher capacity ones to, collect more citizens from time to time. Exactly the same decals as before to decorate and mark the bus stops more. Third and fourth line are going to be easy, so the violet one where, like I said, starts around the depot and just go straight through the housing, stopping every now and then. We don't have to worry about the intersections because there are almost none. By this, close to the cemetery, it will turn around and go back exactly, placing the stops in the exact same places as in the one-way. And then we have a little loop close to the bus depot. As you can see, I used this pre-made loop, which wasn't my intention to use it for buses, but it looks and works fine. Especially that we have fire station and police station there, so it's not really populated. It's not like we have, I don't know, housing and big loop going around the houses. And the last line that I wasn't sure whether to add, it starts in the middle of this first village with the commercial point, and I placed the stop close to the water management services, so workers can come here, and also in this bigger remote industrial site, which is going to be expanded pretty soon. I hope so, although for now we have higher demand for residential rather than industrial, so I keep postponing it. At first I wanted to separate it, but then realized it wouldn't make sense, so yeah, I stick to the first idea, and also I did a mix of two vehicles. So I quickly changed the line names as they didn't save. And again added some decals to mark the stops. Okay, so we are done with the lines. So I placed the really random bus depot somewhere on the map. I can't even find it right now. Just so we can spawn the buses, but right now we are going to work on the actual bus depot. So we can focus on that while we keep the game running, so we can check on the lines later. So this building is a custom asset from Steam. I feel like it's pretty universal. Next to it I've placed office buildings to complement it. It's spawned with this ugly yellow color, so change it to blue with painter mod. Really nice mod for this simple fixes. Went for simple parking and this airport tiles, airport fields, which gonna serve us as a yard for buses. I feel like the main theme of this build is simple, because this is what it is. So small decor, of course, decals like used up ugly road and bashes. It's a simple, quick build. It took me like 15 minutes or 20 minutes at least. It's kind of realistic, easy to recreate, nothing fancy, so I realize I don't have any bus props, so how? Or maybe I use wrong keyword. So I quickly searched on Steam and found this one, which I think matches the look and colors of our fleet. A bit of fencing, and this is it. This is going to serve us for now, and for sure in future we'll build something extra, but this is, I feel, realistic for the fleet of like, I don't know, 20 buses right now. Yeah, 6 times, yeah, around 20. Mathing. So it turns out that adding buses doesn't always mean less traffic, and let me show you how I try to fix it and whether it actually worked. So let's tweak them. I think we can get away with just traffic manager for now, and I will try to guide you through what I'm doing. We have clogged network over there close to landfill, which generates a lot of garbage trucks. And we have 3 intersections pretty close to each other, so the only thing I could think of is to add viewpoints, so whoever wants to turn around, they can do it immediately without clogging the next intersections. So in the next intersection, each lane has dedicated arrow to either go straight or turn left-right. But since they mostly want to go straight, we can make both lanes go straight. And then ask them kindly not to change lines right before the next intersections. People going from this narrow road will be able to enter both lanes, even though the golden rule is for them to enter the closest lane possible. But with that little course, I think it makes more sense to save the latter intersection. Traffic lights, of course, are necessary. I added U-turn option, especially for garbage trucks, so they won't have to drive around using the side streets to make a loop and turn. Expecting traffic to get a little denser later, I added few priority lanes to direct them. Not so busy so far. Another situation where we have 2 intersections close to each other, and they are even bigger. I also placed the bus loop here, so yay me, so clever. I tried to go BIFA style and analyze where they are going, but turn out they going everywhere, so it wasn't much help. Same mistake as before, dedicated arrows/turns. We don't need separate lines that are only for buses to enter the station, so I changed that so they can go both right and straight. So right away I move forward to see what's going on there, how the changes affect the next intersections. I already previously gave them a U-turns for whoever wants to turn right away. They can do so immediately instead of clogging side roads later. I draw the lines to make sure that from each lane they can divide into 2 lanes so they can turn around later when they want to. Damn, it's so hard to explain. I hope you get my point. I noticed they started to bump into each other when turning despite traffic lights, so I just gave them priority and hope they won't kill each other. I mean, they can, just don't clog the network and cause traffic. Back to the previous intersections, I noticed they slow down at the section where buses leave a loop, so I gave them priority to go straight. I realized there are no traffic lights now, but as the intersections are in so close proximity to each other, I thought the cars would clog at each segment, so I left it be traffic light less. But as I let the game run for a while, you will see what's going on. They all bump into each other, so after deleting go straight, I added traffic lights back again and made sure they can enter both lanes, but they didn't quite use it. The traffic popped at unexpected places too, such as this highway rest stop from the other episode. It was only due to 20 km restrictions and no priority, 20 km per hour of course. Also, they clogged at these intersections that I left undone, and as you can see it looks a little bit off, so I fixed that. And it was about the time to exchange the 2-lane with 4-lane road, and following it I discovered another clogged up place. Priorities looked fine. I also didn't want to change whole road to 4-lane, mostly for aesthetic. I detected that these tiny intersections make all the fuss. First, nodes are broken due to the parking lot entry close by, so I wanted to fix that, separate it, and move a little bit further. Go straight buttons were already switched on, but they only made sense on this parking lot segment. Further, they made a mess. This looked better already. And the cars behind buses clogged a bit, but the buses aren't so frequent there, so it shouldn't be a long-term issue. For lines overview, so for some reason it says that each line saved 100% car trips, which I doubt is possible. Line 4, which is industrial one, seems to be the least used, with 4 vehicles being sufficient. I also like the passenger spread, which is only adults and young adults, which makes sense. With third violet line, it seems like not many people use it, the in-between stops. They mostly want to move from the first stop to the last. Most of the buses are not full, so no need to delete any vehicles nor add more. First and second lines are doing the best, probably because they both connect the strategic places like commercial sites, schools, and density of residents is also quite high in this area, and they connect to each other. So overall, don't see any stops that have like 100 people waiting. It's up to 20, I think, with some spots being empty. I also like the spread from children to seniors traveling with all 3 lines. And altogether it says we have almost 200 weekly passengers traveling, which seems meh comparing to 6.k total population, but I think about using free public transport policy if needed. So lesson learned, buses don't really fix traffic. So if you got your own transit rules or want to point out all the traffic mistakes that I did, drop your thoughts in the comment. See you in the next episode or in the comment section, and catch up with the previous episodes if you haven't seen them. They don't need to be watched in order, I think so. So maybe you will find something interesting there. So see you and bye.